Good day to you all. It's Tuesday, 18th of March. Played 3 games today, and rather than filming whilst playing, I'm recording it now. So let's see what happens. So first game. Okay, my computer is doing really weird stuff, or OBS I think it is, my filming system, because the pieces, they are really slow how they move. I've had this trouble a long time and I don't know how to get rid of it. Anyway, he's playing with Jibaba. Sometimes it just gets back to normal again. So we'll see. Jibaba London, I hate this system. Now I need to find a way to defend this pawn. And I'm quickly getting into trouble because I'm quickly getting into reacting. But having said that, I think I'm playing better at the beginning. I wasn't too concerned with getting double pawns because this is not too bad of a system. And if I take, it's with a tempo on the queen, so he needs to move straight away. And yeah, but he's putting on the pressure, but it's not really too bad. He can win a pawn because if he takes, I take. He can, well, either take this pawn with a check. Yeah, I can block it with the queen. And if he takes, I can recapture and still be able to castle. Or he could grab this pawn. If he takes, I take, and he might grab this pawn, and then I get this pawn. So I wasn't too worried, and I thought like castle whilst I still can. And he takes that with that pawn. I take this pawn. And then I thought for a moment I was trapped, but I could just, yeah, I did consider this, but then, yeah, okay. So now we're trading off material, and I'm winning a pawn, which is an important pawn because now this is a pass pawn, but this is like a really central part of the game, which is why I fumbled eventually because I was too focused on this pawn, I think. I thought let's trade, but he didn't want it. Now I needed to defend this and this. Okay, yeah. Okay, so I lost a quite advantage here. I could have gone here, defend this pawn. Yeah, this is actually a good idea. Okay, because if I would have gone here, I'm defending this pawn, and you'll see why this would have been such a great idea, because with my knight being here, I'm actually taking away the possibility for my opponent to come out with his knight into the game. And that caused me some trouble. Well, it made that I couldn't promote my pawn. So that's a good thing to keep in the back of the minds. Because now I've got 2 attackers, 2 defenders. And now he's coming in with his knight, which he couldn't have if I had my knight here. So I did consider going here to trade off, but why would I want to go there and give up this pawn? Don't know. Don't know. I thought reroute it here and push this pawn and have 3 defenders on this pawn and see what happens. So okay, Opponent didn't like these moves. And I thought like, well, I'm gonna have to find some different ways to go about this. And then he offered me a queen straight, and I was actually quite happy with it. Because yes, I'm losing an attacker, but he's losing a defender. And I thought like, if you have the queens of the board, it's easier to promote this pawn. But he obviously retakes and blocking the pawn, but I got I wanted to bring in my king. And this is a little bit of an inaccuracy eventually, I think. I was happy to trade this pawn, whilst it wasn't a good idea. So now the knight is in. I push the pawn, otherwise he would take it. Now I'm attacking the rook. And I knew that I could go here and then defend my knight with the pawn, possibly if needed. If we go here, for example. But he didn't, so I thought like I can push the pawn. And he must have realized this was a bit scary. So I'm just starting to push the pawn. But he was playing clever. Because now he's got two defenders of this square. And I've only got one attacker. So I needed to find a way to get my knight here. But I thought like, let's bring the king into the game. And I think the big mistake I made, because I'm up in material, I'm up by 3 points. I think I'm actually going a bit towards this direction. I think I should just stay here with my king, close to these pawns. Because that eventually will get me into trouble. I thought let's trade off some pieces. And now I've got two isolated passed pawns, which wasn't too good because he can grab one. So he won himself a pawn. I'm up 2 pawns at the moment, but I'm gonna lose. See, this is the problem. I'm too far away from him coming in here and maybe pushing this pawn. That was my mistake. Even though I'm still quite up here, 4 points. So now I've got 2 passed pawns. But he grabs one, and I think I should have gone here with my king first. Because now he's just gonna nibble on both of these pawns. Yes, I get a knight. But now these 2 pawns are isolated and passed pawns. And there's nothing really I can do to stop them. Well, actually there could have been, but I made a mistake here. And this is not too bad. I'm still up. This is still okay. And I shouldn't have gone here, because now it's gone down from being 4 points up to 0. So all my advantage is gone, and it's even getting worse. Still equal. Still equal. Still equal. And I shouldn't have done this. Well, actually, I didn't even see how dumb this was, because not only I'm just giving away my rook, which he didn't see, because he took my knight. What should I have done? Okay, so I should have given another check. And maybe we've gone here to get it. Then I can maybe grab this pawn. And yes, he can promote, but then I take. So he can't actually do this now. He needs to get rid of it get his rook out of the way, maybe attack me. Then I think I would have just maybe just sacrificed my knight, to be honest. This is still simply because he can't take it because I promote. And yes, I can. So if he takes, yeah, that's bad for black indeed. Black for white, bad for white. And if he promotes, also bad. So he should have taken the pawn. Oh yeah, because then you get a draw. Now he gets this. It's a draw. You take it. Okay, but that all didn't happen. Where were we? Yes, I was too far away with my. Oh, actually, hang on. Yeah, this was my mistake because now I'm too far behind, and it's well, it's actually still equal. Check is fine. Oh yeah, and then I should have checked here again and get this pawn, and then yeah, okay. But I blundered my rook, but my opponent didn't see it. He took my knight. He could just taken my rook with promoting, and then yeah, this is just I'm just done for. Nothing really I can do, and I resigned. So okay, on to the next game. So on to the next game, and this game was a lot better, but that's also because my opponent wasn't playing too good. My first opponent was also quite clever in the end game. He outplayed me there. So this is the second game. So I lost the first game, which was unfortunate because I already lost quite some points in the last couple of days. But this game I played with 92.4% accuracy. My opponent 78.5. So again with the black pieces, and this time an E pawn opening, but with the knights in a different way than normal. Well, in most cases. And then I decided to gamble the possibility of him going for a Halloween gambit. If you don't know it, look it up on the internet. You grab the knight, you sacrifice your knight, and then you start pushing pawns. And best thing to do is you go here, and then you push that pawn. You need to go back. So yes, you might even try to go chase this one around. So you are down in material. You're actually down also in points, but you got a good center, and my development isn't very good. But this didn't happen. But it's tricky to play the Halloween gambit. So I was glad he didn't. He brought the bishop out. I put the bishop out. And then I didn't want the bishop to come in or the knight. And then I've done this mistake also maybe 2-3 times until you realize when you can and when you cannot go for the knight sacrifice. The idea is that if this bishop isn't here, actually if if my opponent's bishop is in here, that's what I should say. Hang on, let me get rid of the squares. If my opponent's bishop isn't here, then I recapture what I do now, and then you can fork, as my opponent does now, and it works when your bishop isn't here, because then you've just won a pawn, because you have to step away from here. Actually, it's quite equal. You step away with your bishop, they take your knight, and you recapture with your bishop, and you both, I think you equal them, because then you've got 7 pawns, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, you are equal. But, and I've made this mistake plenty of times myself, as I said, if your knight, bishop's still here, this doesn't work, because now I just grab your bishop, he grabs my bishop, but he sacrificed his knight for it, so he's down in material. I cancel, he cancels. All I need to do is now to get my knight out of here. So I thought, like, see if he wants to grab my pawn and I can recapture with my knight. Straight away I have a good square. But he starts to put a tempo on my knight. So I bring it back. He brings out his pawn. I go here. And then he starts pushing another pawn. I take. My opponent takes, and also putting a tempo on my knight, because obviously it needs to go. Yeah, I did consider going here, but I didn't want to. I thought, like, no, I have this is attacking this, but also this, getting another pawn back. And then he sacrificed, which I did consider he might do, and I didn't want to take it because I'm up in material, and he took a pawn, but I'm going to get a pawn. And I did see if I grab it with this, I'm also closing the gate for the queen coming in, and then I can possibly take his bishop. So take, but firstly he puts a tempo on my queen, so I step out of the way, and then he removed his bishop to a square, which is not right, because there's a little tactic. If you don't see it, maybe pause the video. So yeah, it doesn't really matter he's attacking my knight, because he's defended twice, and I'm up in material, so there's actually no point for him to trade material, because he can take, and if I just do like a random move like this, and he takes, I take, and obviously he can't take, because then he's losing his queen. So, and then I can later just bring my knight back here or something, and then it's a winning position. So it was of no interest for him to go there. And there's another tactic which made my opponent, oh well, you can now actually see it, because I didn't move this pawn. I brought my bishop out, so I'm in a way, I'm not quite sure if it's a fork or a skewer, but I'm attacking two pieces at the same time, attacking the queen and the rook. And he's already down by one piece. Now he's losing a rook for a bishop. So this made him resign. So, good game 2. Now let's have a look at the last game of today. So this is the third and the final game. Yeah, so I've been in a bit of a tilt the last couple of days. Not sure if I said it in the beginning, but I nearly reached my high score somewhere last week, which is a high score I gained in half December. So I went down and climbed back up again, went down again, and now I was one game away from my high score, and then I Saturday played 4 games, lost 2, won 2, so it was still equal. And then Sunday I lost about 50 points, went under 1100 even, and climbed back up to 1131. So, and then I lost my first game today, won my second game, but the tilt is still there. even though I took a day off of online chess on Monday. I played one game, actually played two games over the board at my local chess club. One draw and one win, which was nice. But it's different playing online, I think, somehow. But the third game got me back into full tilt. I played with 79.3, my opponent 79.6. I did actually gain 8 points, not because I was much better than my opponent, because I think he outplayed me even. Yeah, he was better. But he just abandoned the game at a certain point. Resigned or abandoned, you never know what happened. But it was a rough game. But I made some mistakes here, which I later found out that what I did. But I think that's because I was really getting worked up because it was a rough position. Played with white, so going for the typical Jibaba London if my opponent lets me. Just preventing my opponent from coming in. Then we got a bishop trade. So he got his queen in. Get another bishop out. Knight out, knight out. Bishop out, so he's probably keeping the eyes open, options open for castling. Well, computer's back down to being very slow again. So both castled short. And I bring out my queen to a square where my bishop can still retreat if need be. So obviously I need to take that because otherwise it's a fork. So I take, he takes, I takes, he takes. And I did see that he could potentially bring in his knight for a checkmate threat. Then I'd be needing to open up my king side, which I didn't want to do. So I thought, bring out the bishop to prevent the knight from coming in, but then he brought out his bishop. And obviously if I take it, he recaptures and the threat is still on. And I think, well, first of all, I missed a tactic. So if you don't see the tactic, it's always good for you to just pause the video and see if you can find a tactic to win a pawn. That's a hint. And straight away get rid of the threat in the system, because this is a threat and I could have dealt with it quite easily. So if you would like to think about it, just pause the video for a moment. So best option is to take this pawn. And recaptures. And I won a pawn. And the whole threat is gone. And this threat is the reason why I got into such big trouble. So this was the best option. Alternatively, I think I probably could have put my queen here, and this forces a bishop trade. He needs to take me now, because otherwise I'm gonna win a piece. Unless he's gonna move the queen to here somewhere. Oh, that could have been easily. That could have been a thing also. But anyway, yeah. So I think I would have forced him a trade. And then he can't come in now because this square is covered by my queen. So that's what I should have done. Well, I should have gone for the pawn. But what I did do is bring out my rook here. Because I thought, like, rather than just defending, see if we can also grab a pawn. Which I could have done, like I just showed you. But now he backs up this pawn, so he's got a brother standing behind him. And I didn't want to, yeah, I didn't want to mess up my pawn structure, but I end up doing it way bigger than I would have done if I just allowed his knight to come in and push this pawn. Because now I'm getting into big trouble. So I'm cramped, so trading is in my interest. And now he's attacking this pawn twice, so I need to react again. And now he's going back into... Yeah, well, obviously I'm gonna kick his knight, but I'm messing up my pawn structure. He needs to go back here. And then I thought, but I was in a tilt already a bit, because I wasn't happy with his position, and the tilt from a couple of days ago is still there in my system somehow. It's not gone in a day or two. I thought like, well, these guys are actually in a fork position. So if I get this pawn here, backed up this pawn, even if he doesn't move his queen, I might win a queen. But before pushing, I needed to protect this pawn, so I brought up my rook, which isn't the right idea apparently. He's attacking this pawn, but it's defended 3 times. And then I thought like, well, and here I'm still sometimes a bit blind. I'm seeing like a tactic, I think, but I failed to notice that because I thought like if I bring out this pawn here, he needs to open up his queen side for an escape square for his queen. But I failed to notice that he could actually go there with his knight, attacking my queen and giving him an escape square for his own queen. Yeah. So, and I'm opening up my whole king side just for nothing, basically. I was hoping to get like some play here, win a knight. But, so I've opened up my house for nothing, and now I need to react. And okay, so I couldn't take this pawn. Hang on, I was here still. Obviously can't take his pawn here because then he checks me and I need to recapture with the queen and he gets a queen. Yeah, I get 2 rooks for a queen. Yes. But then it'd be a rook against the queen. That's not good. So I couldn't take the pawn. So I stepped over here to get myself out of, because if he takes, I need to react. And that's also a mistake, but that's because of tilt. This whole time I thought like I need to defend this pawn. I need to defend this pawn. And I thought like if it takes, I need to recapture it. I need to recapture it, and I need to have enough defenders. But I don't need to. Even if he takes, I don't need to take it. It's not attacking anything. I can just leave it sit there and do whatever. So I somehow got into an impression that I need to straight away get rid of this pawn. I need to have enough defenders. So that was a bit of a mistake. I didn't know what to do, and now he brought out his pawn, which is a mistake. But I didn't see it because I thought I needed to have enough defenders for this pawn. But as I just explained, now I didn't need to, so I could have just grabbed this pawn, which I didn't. So I stepped back, and yeah. So I thought this was the best move, but apparently it isn't. I didn't want to bring in the queen. Now he checks, which is just a waste of a move, because there's absolutely no follow-up. So he brings it back. And then I didn't know what to do, so I thought I'll just push the pawn. There's nothing else I could do. He gives another check, which is again absolutely pointless. Well, maybe the only point is for him to be on this square he wants to be. Well, maybe that's the whole point. Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. So take, retake. Oh yeah, he took with the queen. And yeah, I had to take some time to think. I knew if it was take, he's taking, and I need to step out of the way. Go here. I thought for a moment I can go here and have my king in time to protect this pawn, but that didn't happen because obviously I needed to step away, and he pushed the pawn again, which he did. Then I need to defend it, and then he didn't take the pawn. He didn't take the pawn, which surprised me because he could have just won a pawn. But then we would have just traded the pawns. And for whatever reason, which is unknown to me, he abandoned the game or resigned. So yeah, so those were the games of today. Yeah, I played with, we both played about 79% accuracy, I think. Yeah, me 79.3, him 79.6. So not a good game for both. Well, not bad, but not so good either. So yeah, stop you for today and take some rest. Tomorrow morning I have other plans, so maybe play a few games tomorrow in the afternoon. Hopefully the tilt is settled down by then. And that's it. If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment if you like, and I'll see you in the next game. All right, take care.